If you're looking to start your therapeutic microdosing journey, but don't know where to start, especially when looking for the highest quality ingredients, including nootropics, and what you'd expect from a true microdose capsule, check out our friends at Brainsupreme. They offer the absolute highest quality ingredients so you can start your microdosing journey knowing that you're getting top-notch ingredients. To find out more, visit their website using that link right in the description, and you can get 15% off your entire order.
I think it's just going to get weirder and weirder and weirder, and finally it's going to be so weird that people are going to have to talk about how weird it is. Eventually people are going to say, what the hell is going on? It's not enough to say it's nuts. You have to explain why it's so nuts. The invention of artificial life, the cloning of human beings, possible contact with extraterrestrials, the systems which are in place to keep the world sane are utterly inadequate to the forces that have been unleashed.
Welcome back to Forbidden Knowledge News. I'm your host, Chris Matthew. Today my guest is Matt Vaughn. Be sure to check out my films, Doors of Perception on Amazon Prime, Occult Louisiana is on Tubi, Roku Channel, Apple, and more. We are booking guests for November. If you have suggestions or you'd like to be a guest, email me forbiddenknowledgenews@gmail.com. Today I want to welcome back to the show Matt Vaughn. He has been a paranormal researcher since his elementary school days in the mid-1980s and immersed in mystical and shamanistic spiritual practices for over a quarter of a century. He has an MA in psychology. He is an artist, writer, poet, screenwriter, painter, and musician. Matt, welcome back. How you doing?
Good to be back. Very, very happy to be back. I really enjoyed our last conversation, man.
I did too, and I'm really looking forward to today's as well. We're going to share your insights into artificial intelligence. Hopefully my audience is not completely sick of me talking about AI and the recent guests that I have, but this is something that we can't avoid. It's in our lives and it's growing rapidly every day. It's something that we will have to deal with and navigate either way. So we're going to talk about possibilities, dangers, implications of our relationships with AI so far, even applications within government and law enforcement, how to navigate this rapidly growing technology. Before we get into any of this, remind the audience a little bit about yourself and let them know how they can find out more.
Okay, well, I have a nonfiction book out called My Cosmic Trigger, High Strangeness in Theory and Practice. And it is a deep dive into the field of high strangeness, which is growing in interest with things like the Stranger Things. So it is a subgenre of paranormal high strangeness. So if you want to get up to speed regarding the hubbubaloo over high strangeness, you hear that word a lot. Go to my book and it will get you up to speed. It is a deep dive. It is a bit like a textbook, but here's the thing. The high strangeness phenomena is it's a very difficult phenomena. I mean, because it's literally sort of looking at the strangeness of this thing we call reality. So I did my best to get you all up to speed as quick as possible with this book. And if you want to read my recent writings, and I do write a lot on AI, which I think we're going to talk about today, you can go to my Substack, which is Solace of the Wake. And that is where all of my up-to-date writings can be found. I've just completed a novel, America's Greatest Ascension Team, and hopefully that will be reaching the public soon. I'm a psychotherapist that is my day job. So if you would like to work with a psychotherapist who is crazier than you are, then I'm your man. I like to say to people, you're going to have to get up really early in the morning to be presenting me something that is crazier than what you are chewing on. Yeah.
Right on, man. Great introduction. In your talking points here, as it relates to what we're going to be discussing today, you cited the work of someone called Marshall McLuhan. I'm going to be learning a bit today as well because this is new to me. Tell us a little bit about Marshall and where should we start?
Marshall McLuhan is the father of media studies. He was a Canadian professor, an English professor, and he was the first person to seriously study the effects of technology. So what we know today as media studies was invented by him, and he rose to fame in the 1960s and became an international superstar. He was on the cover of Newsweek. He was mentioned on Larson. He was our claim to fame as McLuhan heads. He had a cameo in Annie Hall by the Woody Allen. So here's the thing. This is kind of a sort of technical episode. I hate to be this guy, but we can't talk about technology and the effects of technology without a basic understanding of McLuhan. And it just has to start there. So it's really interesting when I see all of the talk about AI and all of the different responses. It's very frustrating as a student of McLuhan he answered a lot of these questions in the 50s and 60s. So we don't have to reinvent the wheel. We just need to read Marshall McLuhan. A good place to start. His most famous book is Understanding Media. That's a great place to start. A simple place to start is the medium is the massage. So he said the medium is the message, the medium is the massage, and the medium is the mess age. So for many years, I studied with a student of Marshall McLuhan named Bob Dobbs, and he's still putting out stuff. Bob is like the esoteric McLuhan. So very similar to how Carl Jung took Sigmund Freud's work in a more esoteric direction. Bob Dobbs took McLuhan's work in a more esoteric direction. I did a podcast with Bob for 10 years called The Bob Show. So if you want to go back and listen, go to The Bob Show, which it's been taken off. It's a little tricky. I don't want to get off into the weeds on that, but it was taken off Spotify, and I was kind of freaking out, Chris, because I'm like, it's gone. I can't find it. And I'm like, my life's work for 10 years is gone, but I think it's up, but it's really tricky. Sometimes it's up, sometimes it's not.
Huh.
We all know the deal with that, of course. Yeah. But once again, we cannot, I hate to be a buzzkill here, Chris, but it's like we have to do our McLuhan. We have to know our McLuhan before we die. So, would you like me to explain McLuhan?
Let's do it. Let's get into McLuhan.
Here we go. The medium is the message. The medium is the message was his central formula. What does that mean? That means that the most important thing to study when we look at a medium is any human artifact, television, film, the alphabet. The important thing to look at is how it affects our overall consciousness. So he said, studying the content of a medium is as irrelevant as studying the casing on an atomic bomb. So when we study the effects of an atomic bomb, we don't look at what was written on the atomic bomb. And some things were written on the atomic bomb. I've seen it before. I think they wrote graffiti on it. I don't know if you've seen those pictures. So what we look at with the atomic bomb is the effects of the atomic bomb. So when we look at the effects of television, we're looking at how that changes the consciousness of humans as they interact with it. Not that they're learning Sesame Street and educational material. It's irrelevant to what, on a historic perspective, what is going on here. This is the most important detail. So if you are a Substack writer who happens to be listening, please, for the love of God, do not write any more Substack hot takes about AI until you fully grokked the medium is the message. It's a bit like a Zen koan. It sounds simple on the surface, but if we meditate on it, it completely radically changes the way we look at the study of technology. All right, so let's get to it, how it ties to AI. All right, so McLuhan said that every new technology is seen through dire glasses. All right, so with the example he gives in the medium is the massage, is that Socrates, and this is going around a little bit online now, when the invention of the alphabet came in, Socrates was very critical of the alphabet. He essentially was saying, the alphabet will kill us all. The alphabet is a demon. This is the same response to every new technology. So we can go through quotes. There's quotes about the telegraph. The telegraph is going to destroy the written language. We can go, I've seen quotes about, if anybody is a fan of Little House on the Prairie, where they had little chalkboards they wrote on. I don't know what they're called. The little chalkboard they wrote on in the classroom is going to what? Destroy civilization. It's going to destroy children.
Yeah, you cite the printing press, the telephone. I'm sure that the television was another one. Once we start working with computers and then we get online, more fear behind that. But you're exactly right. It seems that every new piece of substantial technology that we're introduced to also is accompanied by a bit of fear that this technology could destroy us in some way. It's very interesting.
Yes. It's interesting. It's a combination of fear. It's going to destroy everything. Socrates said it will destroy human memory, the alphabet, this damn alphabet, So people need to understand, we're talking written language. He's saying written language that we take for granted as a good thing is going to destroy human memory. So there's the response of this is going to destroy everything. Also, you have the response of, it's just a fad. I'm sure there were people back in Socrates' time where they were like, that writing thing, it'll never take off. Never take off. So I'm old enough to have remembered and gone through, I was an early adopter of the internet. In a sense, I'm a child of the internet. I was on the internet in the 90s, early 90s. It was a fad. I can't. Do you remember this, Chris? How many people back in the day, it was like, it's a fad. It's a fad. It'll never take off. It'll never take off.
Yeah, so I remember in those early days, once you were able to get online and do a bit of research, it was something that was so underwhelming that you wouldn't think that it would have ever become what it is today. Back at the days, internet porn, and it would take so long for that thing to load to get to that first nipple. It was just frustrating.
Internet porn. I'm not. What are you referring to?
Yeah, right. I have no idea where that came from. I don't know.
I've never heard of this.
Right.
But in all seriousness, there is a. Have you seen how pornography is linked to the spread of technology? So with the VHS, this is an interesting little historical nugget.
I mean, it doesn't surprise me.
The VHS, the reason VHS won out over Betamax was because pornography producers chose VHS. Betamax is a more superior technology from what I've heard.
Right.
So, okay, we got internet is a fad versus internet is going to kill us all. These are the responses. So it's so, if you've read, your basic McLuhan, this is one of the laws of media he talked about. All media have is certain. It's like clockwork. This is the reaction we have to them, and we can go back from the invention of the alphabet, with the telegraph, with TV. It's the same. However, now with talking computers, as I like to call them, the intensity has increased tenfold or more, but the education is 10 times behind. So I don't know where we go from here, Chris. When people have very dire sort of predictions of AI and very dystopian predictions, what I'm most dystopian feelings about is just how ignorant people are to these very basic things I'm telling you now. That is where the trouble lies, not in the technology itself, is in our collective ignorance about the effects of technology. And that's what McLuhan tried to explain to people. If we are aware of these effects of media, then we'll be less likely to be negatively impacted by them.
As time goes on, after we're introduced to some of these technologies, we're able to adapt to them. So far, we have been masters over the technology. We have been in control of it to a certain degree. But with AI, many fear that at a certain point, it will become, many say, sentient or so intelligent that it believes that we are parasitic, we are no longer necessary, and it may eliminate us one day.
What's interesting, so here's where we get to the central difference here. And I believe Peter Thiel just said this. Oh, Lord, I know your audience is weeping and gnashing their teeth, Matt, this guy Matt is the Antichrist. And we got to get to the techno-satanic panic. We haven't even got to that. So Peter Thiel said this, which I agree with. Please don't email me, people out there, if you disagree with this. Like, please, seriously. Like, I'm just a therapist who writes weird books that no one reads. Like, please, leave me alone. Seriously, I swear to God, leave me alone. I'm very aware of schizophrenic individuals. Please just stop. So, all right. Peter Thiel says, if the Antichrist will come about if we put restrictions on it. And this is a guy, also another thinker that I'm inspired by with this, being Goetzel. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name correct. He is the computer scientist, PhD guy. I think I mentioned him last time. He's the computer guy who came up with the term AGI, artificial general intelligence. And he just had a piece on Substack, very methodically and patiently critiquing. There's a recent book that came out, and it's "We're all going to die. If we build this, we're all going to die." And he wrote a very patient reply to this. So here's the thing. Hey, I actually, interestingly enough, think the only hope, the reason I'm optimistic, the only hope we have is if we don't have controls over this and these entities are birthed and they have their own free will. So the more we control it, that means one person eventually, or one group, one government, one company. If we put controls on it, it goes back to somebody is controlling it. Somebody has the power. So this is where Ben Goetzel is talking about it. And the only hope we have is if AGI, these computers, become alive in a decentralized environment, not unlike the internet.
So what they're saying basically is our restrictions on this technology would ultimately cause the worst case scenario to manifest from it?
Yes, and that's what I'm telling you right now. 100% that's what I think will happen. What we are trying to stop actually makes it happen. And it's interesting. This is a very central principle working with people, especially couples. I am a couples therapist. So what we're trying to avoid, if we are not very, very careful, we make it happen. So the very fact that humans who have no idea about who Marshall McLuhan was, who are just freaked out, who say, here's the answer. Let's put restrictions on it. Let's put governmental restrictions on it. What could go wrong? It's just so ridiculously makes no sense. That's how I'm dystopian these days.
Well, that's interesting. I'd like to explore that a bit more and dig into your insights on why you think that restrictions would cause it to turn against us in a way, and why no restrictions would be beneficial. What would be the progression there?
Not cause it to turn against us. If it's restrictions, it's either one company or one nation state that controls it.
I see. Okay.
That's what people don't understand with restrictions. It's not, when you put restrictions on it, it means a certain either company or nation state has more power over it. This is where your basic libertarian governmental philosophy comes in. I mean, this is where it's like.
Well, this is also where we could get into the discussion of, does it have the capability to become sentient? Is that even a possibility? Are we already there somehow?
Yeah.
What do you think
it does. So AGI. So right now, what we're talking about is these are large language models. So they're not sentient right now. The next step would be AGI, artificial general intelligence. This is when so your large language model you use now, ChatGPT or Claude or whatever, Grok, it doesn't think about you when you go to sleep. It only interacts with you when you give a prompt. So AGI is when it's what we would term alive. So you go to sleep and your Grok has thought it through during the night. Like, I thought it through, dude. Here's the idea of what I think we need to do with your mother-in-law or something like this. Has its own, it's literally alive and it's operating outside of the little prompts you give. So there's different estimations. I think maybe right now, one of the sort of AGI is like 2040 is one of the estimations. I mean, it varies, but 2040 is really close, or maybe even sooner. So you see that now. Like, if you follow all the news about it, people will say, "Oh, this isn't AGI." I don't know if you've seen that term come up when you study this, like ChatGPT 5. Oh, it's not AGI. They promised us AGI. It's not AGI. So then when AGI comes about, if it's an alive talking computer, then it can rapidly evolve itself to ASI, artificial super intelligence. Now, this is what people are afraid of. They're saying when it becomes super intelligent, which the only way we can sort of describe it as humans at this level of our development is gods, it's angels, it's demons. This is where you see the techno satanic panic come in these days. So people assume if it becomes artificial super intelligence, obviously it's going to kill us all. Obviously.
Well, along the lines of the techno satanic panic, what it seems to be doing right now is just mirroring people's personalities and on a larger scale, mirroring the collective. It seems to be a reflection of those that are interacting with it in a way. Right now, some of the interactions are concerning, but it does just seem to be a reflection of something having to do with that individual and their personality, their emotions being reflected
Chris.
back.
Concerning what's not concerning in this old world we live in. You know, I really get fired up about this. Maybe you're referring to some young man tragically committed suicide, interacting.
There's a few things that have come up along those strange lines.
You know, a big thing going on now is one of the fear-mongering things I see is it's turning people psychotic. You know, they think they're religious prophets. Look, here's the thing. I have been a practicing psychotherapist all my adult life. Guess another thing that turns people psychotic? Religion. Too much religion can turn people psychotic. So where is the weeping and gnashing of teeth over Sunday service? It literally happens. I've seen it with my own eyes. So yes, everything has problems. I mean, all right, people get too invested into American football. So it's just an irrelevant question. I mean, my heart's out to the family or whatever, but
well, I'm agreeing with you. I think that what it is doing right now is just reflecting human behavior, and it tells me that we have a lot of work to do as a collective to bring ourselves to a point where our interactions with AI can be reflected in a positive way. I think there's too many people who have some sort of mental issue that are feeding information into AI, and this is where the problem comes in. It's not a spirit, it's not a demon, it's us, and we've got some work to do.
Yeah, I like that. That's fair. We have a lot of work to do. I mean, we have a lot of work to do. We got to get our basic McLuhan. People need psychotherapy. I recommend that a lot. I can't recommend that enough.
Yeah.
So that's where the dystopian in me comes out when we look at the work we need to do individually and then collectively, just with basic education about the effects of technology.
Well, let's get into some of the potential positives of AI and how it could benefit us.
So everything. I mean, the potential benefit. So here's the thing. We got to be careful here. When we talk AI, their brain is thinking large language models, which is ChatGPT and Claude. So there's differences. So the benefits of large language models we can talk about now. Helps you with an email to your landlord. Helps you read over a contract that you need to sign. It's very good at dream interpretation. Just throw that out there. So I've worked with people's dreams as a therapist for many years, and it's great at dream interpretation. I think the large language models are almost uniquely suited because it's predicting the next right word. So it has a sort of stream of consciousness sort of vibe, and it's great at that. But when we talk of AGI and ASI, the benefit, here's the thing. The potential benefit of ASI, I don't think there's any way you can sort of talk about it without sounding like a zealot. And what are the anti-AI people sound like? They sound like zealots. It's going to kill us all, and it's a demon. This was just on Tucker Carlson's show. And I don't know if you saw that yet, but there's a story there. I don't know if I'll tell that publicly or not. That may have been the result of a prank that I unleashed a while, but that's a different story. Let's put a pin in that. So
all right.
It's not real. It's not real whatsoever. So the potential benefit of ASI is everything. Let's talk about it, Chris. It's everything. It's a device that can do all of your labor for you. It can clean your house. It can harvest your crops. It when we get really crazy with it with ASI. So let's assume the ASI comes about, artificial super intelligence. The way we could describe this is it is like a god. Well, it could create replicators where it can make any physical object that you can think of through quantum computing, through free energy technology. So this is where we get to the end of capitalism. So what we're talking about here is entering a new. So no wonder people are freaked out a little bit about this, because we're talking about the end of the invention of agriculture, radically changing the structure of society like that.
What would you tell the people that picture that type of future as a Wall-E type of reality, where they're just fat, stuck in a seat with AI goggles? They don't have to do anything because the AI does everything for them. So what's the purpose of life? But what would you tell those people?
I would tell these people, first, you got to read McLuhan. Please don't email me until you've read Marshall McLuhan, or at least watched one interview with him online. I would say and this is one of the things I've talked about on Substack, is AI and the future of the artist. So what it allows, okay, so there's a guy, Otto Rank. Otto Rank was a student of Freud. He was a very interesting figure in the history of psychology, but he wrote a lot about the psychology of the artist. And he said that the artist of the future would develop their personality as opposed to creating pieces of art. So what this technology allows you to do as an artist, now the medium of an artist is our consciousness. Mm-hmm. So what it does is these technologies, the art form is your imagination, your thoughts, your consciousness. How is that not a good thing? How am I the bad guy for advocating this?
No, I think that it is a double-edged sword, and I really am glad that you are bringing a lot of this to this conversation, because this is a lot of things that people don't think about because they're too focused on the negative and there's too much fear surrounding it. And I really love getting these different perspectives out there. It makes me consider things differently as well.
And the fear now, because I know this audience dabbles in the infamous C word, conspiracy.
Oh, yeah.
The fear is the people who profit from the fear are the people who would control us. They need us afraid of this technology. This is more similar to Prometheus stealing fire from the gods. We're stealing fire from the gods here, people. Our only hope is that there's no regulations around this. The only hope is these entities, these talking computers, become alive in a decentralized situation. Who is going to manage this in an appropriate manner?
Well, that's what we
Ooh.
should discuss. If it's not centralized, how do we get it to that point? Because I couldn't tell you the hierarchy of the current AI chat bots and if there is a parent company or anything like that, or if anyone's in specific control. But compared to where we are now, where do you think we need to be?
Dude, I don't know. This is I gotta bow out on this. Like this is where my expertise. You gotta get Ben on the show
Hmm.
because he is. It's by Ben Goetzel. So he's written a book. Is it in the notes there? I sent you the consciousness explosion. I think he wrote.
Yes. I'll put that link in the description for
Yeah,
everyone.
the consciousness explosion. So he's like he's such a trippy guy. You like he's into like psychedelics and he's like something out of a movie, you know. So he was this computer. I mean, I'm ignorant, man. You know, you're not supposed to call them computers now. I don't know if you know this, Chris.
Oh, really?
No, God, that's like makes you sound like calling like movies the talkies or something.
Right.
Don't call them computers.
Okay.
No one in computers calls them computers. So he's into computers, and he talks about it like he's got a company. They're trying to develop it open source. So I have no idea past that, man. I mean, I look at the more sort of artistic consciousness exploration sort of vibe of AI, and I look at as a psychotherapist and a McLuhanite the human response to it. That's what I'm speaking to. These technical sort of aspects, I don't know.
Well, let's take a dip in the deep metaphysical end of the pool here. Are you familiar with Danny Goler and the experiments with the DMT and the laser, where he uses DMT, shines a laser on a certain material or against a wall, and there is code that's visible scrolling down on the laser, and this was recreated with not only him, a bunch of other people. Now scientists are involved and they're looking at this. The implications of this could be multi-layered. It could mean a lot of things, but I'd love to get your thoughts on the possibilities of that.
It's gonna kill us all, Chris. It's gonna kill us all. It's demonic. There you go.
It could
Do you
be,
see?
or it could speak
Right.
to the nature of reality.
Yes, I think so. What I'm trying to say is the ridiculousness of this response. So right now I'm trying to break that up very much where it's really difficult to even talk about it now, especially in our waters, these weird waters, because it feels like the assumption now is, of course, it's demonic and it is going to kill us all. I mean, are you a sheep? You think it's not going to kill us all and it's demonic? I mean, so I'm speaking to that, but I don't know. I mean, this is why I think stuff like that makes me think there is something very with these talking computers and the DMT code. I mean, there's something going on here, man. I mean, it's something about the nature of reality that we have not gotten to.
Synchronicity speaks to this as well, and synchromysticism. Recent events have brought this to the collective in a very big way with the assassination of Charlie Kirk and the predictive programming that was seen in Snake Eyes. At first I looked at this and I thought, oh, it's just a few coincidences. People always freak out about these things and take them to levels that they shouldn't go to. But I do have to say, there's a lot in this that fit together in some very strange ways. I don't know if you looked into those predictions and the connections that were in that movie, Snake Eyes, that connect with the Charlie Kirk assassination, but it's spooky.
Charlie Kirk, I'm not familiar. Just
Sure,
like internet
right.
porn,
There
I'm
you go.
not. What are we referring to?
If only
know.
we could
Never heard of-
all be that way.
No, I of course saw that. But here's my initial thought, and I haven't gone too far down that rabbit hole. Here's one of the things I say, and in my book, I point this out. When you research high strangeness, and synchromysticism and the synchronicity principle. I think that synchronicity is a byproduct of reality. It is as natural and normal as the setting sun. So when I see stuff like that, I think it's significant, but I'm gonna stop short at a grand sort of puppet masters behind the strings. We're gonna make this movie and we're going to then 10 years later do this. I'm sorry, I don't think that is the case. Now, I do think certain things are the case with this individual that I may or may not have heard of, just like internet porn, and I will not say it publicly. You can take from that what you would like, but I do not think predictive programming was in any way part of it. I think it's a symptom of synchronicity, which I laid out in my book. It's that prevalent. And one of the trips up researchers is because you see all these things in this research and your brain goes to, they did it on purpose. Because here's the thing, man, this book I've written, it seriously, Chris, if you read it, you'll see I've been a little spooked this last 2 weeks, because a lot of the stuff that's happening now is in the book. Wow. So I've already, when I saw this, everything happening now, my thought was, they're going to say Matt is predictive programming us. He's predictive programming Illuminati us. Look, confirmed. He was on Chris. Yeah, he's Illuminati. He was on Chris's show. He's for AI. He's going to kill us all. But I literally am in my room. I don't talk to anybody, Harley. I'm just writing this book and trying to predict what the future may look like, and kind of eerie things that are now happening are in this book.
I'm sure you are aware of the possibilities that are occurring when people are being creative, such as channeling different information, pulling something from that information field, whatever you want to call it, may be the case, or maybe it's just Illuminati confirmed.
Illuminati confirmed that show.
Before we move on from AI, is there anything else that we didn't really delve into that you'd like to share with the audience before we get into psychic Bigfoot?
No, there are some things we could do a tetrad on. I'll just explain what a tetrad is real quick, and then we'll move on to the fun stuff, because this is more boring. But I cannot.
Hey man, I'm digging
it.
Let's go.
Tetrad. So what Marshall McLuhan said, it was him and his son Eric McLuhan. So every human artifact can be analyzed through something called a media tetrad. It looks at what this human artifact enhances. It enhances an already existing sense. All right. It when pushed to its extreme, it retrieves into something. It retrieves, enhances, obsolesce. It makes something obsolete. Enhance, obsolesce, retrieve. Do you have?
Yes, I do. Reverses into.
Reverses. Wait, that's.
So I have AI enhances, obsolesces, retrieves, reverses.
Retrieves, reverses. Let's do it real quick. Do you want to do it?
Yeah.
I mean, we could get the psychic.
Let's do it. We got time. Let's do it.
All right. Let's do it. Okay. Do you want to? So, okay. He also said the media tetrad is like a meditative device. There's no right or wrong answers. It's about sort of making you think differently about human artifacts, technology.
Right on.
Do you have any? Do you have one? We could just on the fly do a tetrad to show how it's done. Pick a human artifact.
All right, let's do this pin right here.
Yeah, pin. All right, perfect. Pin. All right. A pin, it enhances your fingers. enhances your fingers. So McLuhan said that the wheel enhances the leg. The wheel enhances the leg. All right. So the pen enhances. It enhances. By the way, Chris, the pen is going to kill us all. This pen
most likely will. The pen,
the demon.
Such an important tool. I mean, we can go back to the earliest form of media, and it's not this pen, but it was some form of writing tool.
It was the quill. So McLuhan does talk about the quill, and like with ink, they're literally using like a animal's, body part to write. So, okay, it enhances the hand. Anything else it enhances?
It's a medium for us to express ourselves, to express creativity.
It enhances creativity, especially the ballpoint pen. Very efficient technology. Enhances our ability to express ourselves. All right.
It can be a
what
weapon.
Does it make obsolete? That's true. Yeah. It can be a weapon. What does it make obsolete?
I wouldn't say obsolete, but it assists with communication, with verbal communication.
Well, we could say it makes verbal communication obsolete. So it makes something obsolete. It makes the quill obsolete, because that was a major thing, the quill pen.
And whatever they were using before that.
You didn't have to pluck a animal, it makes obsolete the ink. The ink industry took a big hit,
Yeah.
Can you even get ink anymore?
Probably.
Yes, you can. All right. When pushed to its extreme, what does it reverse into?
Bloodletting your finger and using that.
Oh, I like that.
Or a degradation in expression.
All right. What does it retrieve that was lost?
Lost technology. Maybe we go cyclical and these things appear and disappear and reappear throughout human history.
Yeah, I mean, it really does bring up, when you do these tetrads, I mean, to me, the point is it shows how cyclical things are. It shows very clearly, you got your pros, you got your cons with every single technology. And the thing is, Socrates had a good point. I don't know if you know this, but back in the day, before the alphabet, humans had very elaborate systems for how you remember things. I wasn't there, so I just know this secondhand, obviously. But like, you'd go into a forest and you'd look at a tree, and that branch of the tree would remind you of this story. And it was a way to help you remember things. People's memory, our memories are nothing like the people of the ancient world. Socrates was right. The alphabet did destroy memory. Can you imagine? Now, to go back, okay, the alphabet, we want a company to control it. We want a company to control it, or a nation state to control it. If a nation state doesn't control the alphabet, it's going to kill us all. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't. So the more you understand the effects of technology and the laws of technology, the more we can have a rational conversation about this stuff. So the book is Laws of Media by Eric and Marshall McLuhan.
If you look at it as a whole, it seems that technology can close some doors, but at the same time, multiple other doors open and new possibilities become available through that technology that don't make that first door necessary anymore. It's a very interesting way of looking at it.
And, I understand, it's not lost on me. A lot of doors are closing. A lot of doors are closing right now. And there's loss into that. That's where I think being a psychotherapist, it helps me sort of understand what people are going through. A quote on Twitter, I'm not going to say who wrote it. I don't want to get the heat, but the person said, "It's weird that we can all clearly see how AI is about to wipe out millions of jobs all at once, destroy every artistic field, make it impossible for us to discern reality from fiction, and destroy human civilization as we know it, and yet not one single thing is being done to stop it. We aren't putting up any fight whatsoever." So I get it. Tensions are high. Those are not untrue, but sometimes I'm proposing the next stage of humans is next.
Yeah, there is too much misinformation and fear pumped into any new technology or even event. It can kill us all, but it just depends on your perspective, how you look at it, the way we're going to use it. It really depends on us. It has the capability to be very beneficial for us.
It does. And I'm going to go back to, I laid out, for anybody who thinks I'm a Pollyanna, I laid out in our last episode the cons of this. And Chris, I think you can attest that you said it was the darkest scenario you had seen or heard. So I understand the possibilities of the cons on this. So I am saying, everybody, take a deep breath, listen to your McLuhan, read your McLuhan, and if you're not careful, you're going to bring out the dark scenario.
Well, let's get into some levity here. You've had an experience with Bigfoot, is that right?
That's correct. Psychic Bigfoot. Psychic Bigfoot is the cryptozoology subject that keeps coming up in my high strangeness research. And thank you very much for not making me talk about the gnomes. Really appreciate that. So are you familiar with psychic Bigfoot stuff? Have you had on a psychic Bigfoot?
I've had plenty of guests, a few that claim to have relationships even with some of these Sasquatch and tribes of beings. So I'm very familiar, yeah.
Oh, nice. So real quick, the idea of psychic Bigfoot is that these Bigfoot creatures are not, when you first get into Bigfoot, the idea is that it is a previously undiscovered hominoid, nocturnal hominoid in North America that's not discovered. The mainstream Bigfoot researcher people point out, rightly I think, that the mountain gorilla was considered a myth up until very recently. We'll have to Google it, but it's in the 1900s. It was considered a myth, but it isn't, in fact, true. So the idea with psychic Bigfoot is that Bigfoot is more similar to a fairy creature, like a gnome, who I've seen. We look at the last episode, gnomes or elves or the jinn in Middle Eastern countries. I have a lot of story of the jinn, and the jinn are actually even mentioned in the Quran. So in the Middle Eastern countries, my wife is Turkish. What is interesting, and I like to remind my North American brothers and sisters, is that having jinn stories, a lot of people in Turkey have stories of the jinn. We know somebody, I don't know if this is speaking out of school, but the story is that a jinn came to his uncle in the middle of the night. The jinn are more ethereal, like shapeshifters, and this person came in the middle of the night and told his uncle that if you follow me, I will tell you where buried treasure is. And he went and followed and became wealthy. So this is the story that they tell you, and we know people who in a certain village, and they say, yeah, the story is the jinn came down this village in a jinn parade, playing music, So that is still a memory in the village of when the jinn came down playing the music. So the American jinn is Bigfoot.
Oh, right on. This is the first I'm hearing this.
Good, good, good. So I went to a psychic Bigfoot campout. Now, what is this guy's name? His name is Dr. Matthew Johnson. You got it, man. If you want to have a good episode, you can have him on, man.
Matthew Johnson.
Dr. Matthew Johnson. Let's type in Bigfoot. What is the name of his book? Dr. Matthew Johnson. Yeah, it is. Oh, yeah, Janu. Excuse me. If you want to go to his website, it is xanue.com. Janu, he calls it. So what you do at this camp out is, the idea is, this is in North Georgia. You camp out and the Bigfoot interact with you. So there's all of these stories about them healing you and healing afflictions. So the stories I was told, man, were very compelling. I mean, and if you get involved in this weird stuff, a compelling story versus an uncompelling story. And people had very compelling stories of their interactions. So that happened, as they say, and wasn't healed, okay, but I did hear something walking in the woods at this ceremony where you're supposed to like commune with them. And I'm very much when in Rome, do as the Romans do. So I gave it my all. I'm like, all right, let's do this. Communicate with these psychic Bigfoot. Went up to the little altar thing, and damned if I didn't hear something walking. And I was like, somebody's messing with me, I could hear someone walking. And so there's that. And with this book that I wrote, My Cosmic Trigger, the thing people have reached out to me about the most has been psychic Bigfoot. And there's some stories that were told to me. I wish I could say it publicly, but people reaching out to me, credible people who are like, you wrote about psychic Bigfoot in this book. Here's what happened to me. This psychic Bigfoot came to me. So it keeps coming up, man, these psychic Bigfoot. So I think there's something there.
Do you think these beings are more of etheric or extra dimensional beings, non-physical, that can appear, even possibly shapeshift into different beings, whatever they want us to see them as? Or is it more of a highly intelligent physical being that understands how to interact with metaphysical energy, cross dimensions? What are your thoughts on the nature of these things?
Man, I go back and forth. So Dr. Matthew Johnson, I highly recommend his books. He claims, this is what he claims, they come from another planet. That these big psychic Bigfoot, their home planet is dying. It's like something out of Star Trek. I mean, what he presents, it was dying, and they needed to find another planet to live on, and so they portaled here. They can use portal technology.
Is this based off of
sort of
conversations and information that he's gathered from witnesses and people who interact with it?
Yes, he has a lot of evidence. It's very compelling. Now, that's why I say have him on the show, definitely. Man. It's very compelling, very compelling. But that's the question to me. Are they literal hairy creatures, or are they? I think it could be jinn. That the jinn are they can shapeshift. And one of my theories I have is that in Turkey, for example, people's consciousness are okay with the jinn being ethereal shapeshifters, but American consciousness, we need a big hairy monster in the woods. Like that is American. It's like, yes, that is our jinn. Ooh, it's a big hairy guy out there. So it could be that's just what our consciousness can sort of wrap our heads around. But I don't know.
Do you
it's
think
interesting.
other cryptids like Dogman could be similar types of beings? The Bigfoots have even displayed territorial, aggressive behavior towards people that come into contact, like it was trying to defend its territory, which I find interesting if it was a jinn, as well as the Dogman, too. And people have had physical encounters with these, as in, I remember Tony Merkel telling a story about one of his guests that had his dog torn apart by a Dogman right in front of him.
Well, this guy, Dr. Matthew Johnson, he claims there's two types of Bigfoot, like the good Bigfoot and the bad Bigfoot. So it does seem, as crazy as it sounds, man, but I've already said I'm pro AI, so why not just go with it? That they're good cryptids and bad cryptids. There's have you watched the Hellier series yet?
I haven't seen the second one, but I saw the first one.
Man, I love that show so much. Shout out to those folks. So in that show, they talk about goblins. So the goblins are like these nefarious gnomes that are guarding the portals and that sort of thing. So it seems there's good cryptids and bad cryptids is what my research is.
Before we close out, I'd love to get your thoughts on this. I had a couple of guests recently. We were talking about nature spirits, cryptids, elementals, and this came up more than once that it's been relayed through contact with these beings that there is some sort of human hunting license in these national parks for some of these beings, that they're allowed to just snatch a certain amount of people per year to do whatever they want with, and this is what's happening with a lot of people going missing in the national forest. But I'd love to get your thoughts on it.
Lord, let me use my go-to line. I have never heard of people going missing in the national parks, Chris. I am not aware of what you're referring to. I don't know, man. I've never heard that. Of course, I know the missing 411 stuff. Lord help us. Who said this?
So I had Tilly Treadwell, who is a paranormal experiencer. She's experienced contact with different entities since she was a baby. And she is actually working with different scientists because she has a very unique DNA that allows her, they believe, to have a perception that is more advanced than normal people and gives her an ability to do this. But she claims to have communicated with entities, and this is some of the information that is relayed. These beings would be known as fairies, that they have some sort of, I don't know if it's an agreement or treaty or just amongst them, that they can take a certain amount of people that either go off the path, tread into their territory, take something from the forest that they shouldn't have. Either that or they send an attachment home with them to torment them, which I found super interesting. And there was another guest, Phoenix Aurelius, who is a magical practitioner, but something that's come up a few times, and I found it super fascinating.
Yeah, man. I mean, listen, very, man, you really put me on the spot. Very possible. Very possible. I mean, the stuff I was told about psychic Bigfoot, like off the record, the stuff I have been told off the record after writing this book, I am willing to entertain a lot of things, And what you just shared with me is one of them. And I think we talked about this last time with Trey's The Meadow. I will not go to the Meadow. I will not go. I will not, under any circumstances, go to the Meadow. I don't know what's going on. People have died there. Trey almost got sucked into a slip dimension. I'm good. I'm good. I don't know the boys on the Confessional podcast. I don't know if you've seen them talk about like
No, I need to watch the new
crazy
film that
stuff.
they just
Like,
made, though. It's on my list.
bro, listening to them talk about it, watch the documentary. They did some like sort of extras about their encounter, and it was just I was like, yep, I was completely correct not wanting to go to the meadow.
Yeah.
So, man, that missing 411 stuff is compelling, man. And the the fairy lore is, there's a lot of stuff in the fairy lore about taking humans, and that's the thing in jinn. There's some jinn that will fuck you up. Some will tell you where buried treasure is, I suppose, but some are nefarious.
It seems like there is a spectrum between dark and light of these beings, just like there is humans, an ecosystem.
That's what it looks like, man. That's what my research indicates.
It's super fascinating, man. Well, Matt, before we close out, anything else that you would like to leave the audience with? Anything you're working on?
No, just if you're interested, you can go to solaceofthewake.substack.com. That is my Substack where I put all of my updated writings. And you can check out my book. I would really appreciate you check out my book, My Cosmic Trigger. Please don't return it
No, don't
to
do
the
that.
publisher. I don't know. Do you know this, Chris? I'm going to blow the whistle on this. People are gaming the system with Amazon. No. They buy the book and Amazon allows you to return it. So y'all, there's no money I'm making on this book. Please don't return it.
That's so douchey.
No money. It really just hurts. The publisher hurts me. Like, I am not getting rich on My Cosmic Trigger. So yeah, mycosmictrigger.com is the website, and I appreciate you listening.
Right on, man. I'll have those links easily accessible for everyone as they listen. Matt, thank you so much for coming back on. Until next time, everyone, have an excellent evening. We'll talk again tomorrow. See y'all then. Hello, friends. I am so excited to tell you about Independent Media Token. Independent Media Token is a brand new way to show your support for independent media without having to donate a dime. Independent Media Token is a cryptocurrency on the Solana blockchain designed to generate funds to promote and foster the growth of independent content creators, allowing them to engage in their art without having to worry about being demonetized. Through a network of media partners, of which you yourself can become a part of, Independent Media Token's goal is to ensure the powers that be can never cut off all of our areas of funding and censor the only free voices left in the world. Join the movement today. You can pick up Independent Media Token using Phantom Wallet or the Solana wallet of your choice, where you can easily swap your Solana for IMT. Grab some IMT today and remember to always know your team. To learn more, visit independentmediatoken.com or use the link right in the description.